The Architecture of Love. Silas spent his days looking at the invisible threads that hold a life together. To some, he was just a man with a briefcase and a stack of charts. But Silas knew the truth. He didn't sell policies, he built shelters. He watched the way people talked about their futures, often with a smile and a wave of the hand, as if the sun would never stop shining. Every Tuesday, Silas met his friend Aramis at a quiet cafe. Aramis was a nurse who worked the late shifts at the city hospital. While Silas worked to prevent the fall, Aramis was the one who caught people after they stumbled. They sat in the corner booth, the steam from their coffee rising like ghosts of the conversations they were about to have. "I saw it again today," Aramis whispered, his eyes fixed on the table. A couple, deeply in love. In their late 50s, they had spent their lives building a home, raising children, and assuming the horizon was miles away. They thought they had time until they didn't. When the diagnosis came for the husband, the clock didn't just tick, it roared. Aramis described a scene at the hospital. The wife, Elara, sat by the bed, her heart breaking from the illness, but her mind racing with the cost. The mortgage didn't pause for a recovery. The bills arrived with a cold punctuality that didn't care for her grief. They had relied on the strength of their affection, forgetting that love alone cannot pay for a specialist or keep the lights on. Silas nodded slowly. "People think protection is a clinical word," he said. "But I see it differently. I tell my clients that love also plans ahead, to provide for someone when you are no longer able to stand beside them. That is one of the highest forms of devotion. It's not about fear. It's about the quiet dignity of being prepared." "It's not just the old who wait too long," Aramis continued. "I had a patient last week, a runner named Leo. He was 24 and moved like the wind. He laughed when his parents mentioned insurance, saying he was made of steel. He thought his youth was a shield, but age is not protection. A sudden accident on a Tuesday afternoon proved that bones are fragile, no matter how young they are." Leo sat in his recovery room, staring at a mountain of physical therapy invoices. The independence he had cherished was replaced by a heavy reliance on others. He had the strength to heal his body, but he lacked the financial foundation to protect his future. He sat in the shadows of his own vibrant life, wishing he had listened when the world told him he was mortal. Silas reached into his bag and pulled out a photograph of a young family he had helped a year ago. "This is Maya and her daughter," he said. "They didn't have much, but Maya insisted on a plan. She told me she wanted her daughter's life to be defined by opportunity, not by a sudden lack of it. When Maya's business took a hit during her own illness, the plan we built stood firm. Because Maya had planned early, she didn't have to choose between her health and her daughter's education. The storm hit their house, but the roof didn't leak." Silas remembered the relief in Maya's voice when she called him. It wasn't the relief of a winning lottery ticket. It was the peace of a woman who knew her family was safe because she had chosen to act when the skies were clear. As the sun began to set, Silas and Aramis left the cafe. They walked together through the park, watching families play and young professionals rush home. "We can't stop the rain," Silas said, looking at the gathering clouds. "But we can make sure everyone has an umbrella." They walked on, two friends committed to the quiet, essential work of making sure love always had a plan.